Welcome to Cruise Ship Crime Investigators, the book series. Book 2, Serial Killer.
Chapter 21, The Chapel. Real flowers are in the alcoves following a renewal of vows service yesterday, but without people, the chapel is a cold space. After opening every cupboard door in the chapel, which they know could not hold a body, the three walk around the room again, watched by the thoughtful Hunter Witowski. Ruby turns to Lau. See if the Cliffords had a request to renew their vows. Lau makes a note in his smartphone. And ascertain whether Donna was in the solo cruisers group, choir, or the arts and crafts that all met in the lounge, and have the doctor test that hat pin for blood, then reseal the evidence, Kieran suggests. You think the hat pin is the potential murder weapon? Lau asks, quickly keying in the data. Sure of it. I could have taken the pin from Ruby's head and killed her in seconds. Unlikely. She turns to her assistant. Lau, check Kirshner for his attendance at any groups in the lounge. He was also travelling solo. I could have killed you, Kieran insists. You could have killed the slower and less agile Donna, I'll give you that. Hunter marches out, ignoring their banter. Lau follows him. Lau, remind me to get HR to get me a romance at work contract sorted. Lau continues to type. It was a joke, Kieran says, passing Lau, who stops typing. He is finding their banter hard. You double-check the service area? Hunter asks, pointing at the crew-only door before going into the crew's nest. Yes, sir, but it goes everywhere, Lau says. Hunter steps back into the lounge. Where are you, Eric? Lau follows Hunter as he curves around the empty lounge bar. They exit the mirror image door on the other side of the ship and enter the library. The room is efficiently designed, and so tight there is just enough space for a guest to weave around the shelves, searching for a book. Kieran notices a mismatch between the wall and the shelf. He looks back and forth, establishing there must be a space behind the unit. The librarian, an Indian woman, notices his discovery. It is where I store paperbacks, used to replenish the book swap table, Aisha offers, showing him the hidden cupboard, which does not contain a body. Ruby moves next to Kieran to look in, but within a second she is back with Hunter. He faces out, transfixed on the ladies' toilet opposite the library entrance. Do you have any books on psychopaths or serial killers? Hunter asks without looking back. Yes, we have a good crime section, Aisha answers. They need to go. What do you think, Ruby? Yes, you're right. Aisha, let's get all the killer psychology books off the shelf and locked in one of your cupboards, Ruby says. She then tries to read Hunter's deliberations. Housekeeping checked all the toilets and cupboards, and engineering checked plumbing access. One of my team was with each of them. The other side, opposite the chapel, is the men's toilet. Yes. Next to the crew-only door that this side doesn't have, Hunter muses. What if Eric wasn't going stargazing? What if he just wanted a drink? What if he was just going to the toilet but got snatched and pulled into the crew rabbit warren? Are you suggesting a crew member killed him? Donna, Kirshner, and Bogdan, Kieran asks, noticing Aisha's reaction to the names. What is it? Bogdan was the entertainment in the lounge 2 nights ago. He was playing saxophone solo, she reveals. He is dead? Kieran leads the group back into the lounge, and Aisha is swept in with them. They stand on the small stage, craning their necks to look everywhere they can from the restraint of the bandstand. The sax player watches the whole room. He sees everything. But... What is it, Aisha? Hunter asks. Every little detail counts. He doesn't stand there. He walks around playing, all over the room. In fact, he climbs on the tables, onto the backs of the seats. He even balances on the rails while he plays. He was very funny, she replies. Hunter walks far enough to allow him to see the other exit, the toilet door, crew and chapel doors. This far? Hunter asks. Yes, sometimes. Often, she says nervously. Hunter accelerates towards the crew door. Chapter 22 Raw Steel. Crew areas are the same on any class of ship. White painted steel stairs, white riveted metal walls, and white pipes. There are no coverings, no carpets, and no false ceilings to absorb sound or create an atmosphere. Here, the sound bounces around and no one can move quietly. The ambient background noise is a mixture of drones. Hunter opens the door and steps into the new area at the very top of the stairs. The three walk down just half a flight, their footsteps creating a wave of sound. They look up and down. Lau is still standing at the top level, just inside the crew door. He can hear the voices echo up and is typing notes. Let's get Bogdan's on-stage times into our timeline, Hunter suggests. 45-minute slots. The last always starts up at 11:15, so it can finish at midnight, Ruby shares. Lights back on was at 23:06, meaning the murders were completed by the time he had to be back on stage, 11:15, Kieran adds. Lau sighs and types madly into his phone again. Let's not get excited, people. Bogdan didn't kill himself, Hunter says. No, and how strong would you need to be to drag someone inside here, kill them, then carry the body down? Ruby asks, looking over. And to where? I'd tip him over the rail, Kieran says. You'd make a mess, blood everywhere, Hunter offers, looking down. Crow's Nest is on Deck 9. Deck 10 is the sun deck, which has no connection to this, Ruby explains. And that is Deck 8, the back of your suite, Phillips, just behind the bridge. A female housekeeper rounds the corner dragging 2 sacks. She stops, shocked that there is a team including 2 officers in her service area. Sorry, she apologizes. No, come in, please, continue, Kieran encourages, and Ruby nods to agree. The small housekeeper is embarrassed as everyone watches her. Slowly, and wondering if she is in trouble, she lifts the first sack, which is green. What does green mean? He asks. She stops. Green mean towel, white mean linen, she answers, and she drops both sacks down the chute. Kieran rushes over and looks down, then looks to the others. These chutes drop all the way to where? Deck 2. But laundry works around the clock. Linen has a 24-hour turnaround. The sheet that comes off your bed today is on someone else's bed tomorrow. Eric would have been discovered within hours, Ruby says. Lau has followed them down and he has his smartphone to his ear. Lau, find out what the turnaround has been for the laundry and recycling drop down the forward chutes over the last 2 days. Now he'd have been discovered, Ruby insists. You wouldn't find chutes like this on a newer ship. They use service lifts, Hunter thinks out loud. Maybe he dropped the body and then ran down 6 flights and moved it, Kieran suggests. That area is working continuously, Ruby answers. Laundry is in the middle. Recycling is right at the front. The large bins get wheeled down I-95 and would be moved by the time he got down there. We need a detail on Deck 2, checking all the stacked-up laundry bins. You're looking for the body of Eric Clifford, Lau says, before ending his call. And runs up 6 floors? No wonder he gets caught stargazing and commits 2 more murders, Ruby insists. Exactly, Hunter says. He walked the full length of the ship in the passenger corridors, knowing we have no cameras there. Chapter 23 Who's Ringing Me? Wild Mary is squeezed into her small storage cupboard. She is straining to tighten the top joint of a new, shiny section of pipe using a wrench. The access hole she has bashed in the wall is big enough to see that the maritime office next door is flooded. Her phone rings, but turning and moving is not easy. She stumbles over the mops, poles, brooms and cleaning equipment that she had managed to work around, but her panic to get out scatters them. "Who's ringing me? No one rings me," she rants, breaking free and dropping the wrench into her large toolbox. She arrives at the phone as it stops, and that makes her angry. "That's why I don't do deliveries. You want to eat? You get off your butt and come here." Like picking up sticks, she collects the cleaning equipment, and just as her hands are full, the phone rings in the unit next door. She throws them down and leans into the cupboard to look through the crude hole she made. The next unit's phone is sat on a desk, but there is no way she can get to it. "They're not in!" The detective's phone stops ringing. Mary is incredibly pleased with herself. As she turns away, the phone starts to ring again. She picks up the long-handled 16-pound hammer and attacks the wall. "Wait!" she screams, swinging the hammer until the wall has a large enough hole to wedge herself beyond. Exhausted, she wades through the water and reaches the phone. It stops ringing. She leans on the desk, breathing heavily, and kicks her feet in the water. "You boys expecting a ship?" The phone rings in her own unit, and she turns towards it angrily. "We ain't playing this game." The diner phone eventually stops, and she looks down and smiles expectantly at the phone on her neighbor's desk. "Your turn." The phone in her diner rings again. She grabs their phone and wades towards the wall carrying it. The hole in the wall is still too small, so she drops their phone in the water and snatches the hammer she had left, standing handle upright. She swings at the wall, smashing an even bigger hole, leaving a large section of brick hanging. Ignoring the danger, she lifts their telephone by the cable and bursts through. Dragging next door's phone, she kicks the mops and grabs the handset of her own counter retro telephone. She would say hello, but for a moment she has to breathe. "Is that cruise ship crime investigators?" "They're out," she manages. "Are they in the Pacific Ocean?" "I'm in the ocean." "You're with them?" "No, different ocean. But if you think they're in the Pacific, why are you ringing here?" She slams the phone down. Mary raises the newer telephone that is dripping water. "You gonna play?" It doesn't ring, so she lowers it to hang down by her side as she looks at the hole in the wall. "You owe me for plumbing and a new wall." Her own counterphone rings again, but she doesn't even turn. "They're out."